The Buffalo Bills just doubled down. Bills Mafia, the trade deadline just passed. We didn't get the player that we wanted. We didn't get Jacoby Myers. We didn't get Chris Olave, Jalen Waddle, or even late in the game, we saw that the Jets were having a fire sale and that Garrett Wilson was potentially on the block. There's no interdivision trades. You know, Rashid Shaheed is off to the Seahawks, who frankly are having a great year, and they've got a great wide receiver one in Jackson Smith and Ajigba, but we're looking at this from the outside in. Everybody expected the Buffalo Bills to make a move. Frankly, yesterday, I think we kind of got baited into this. We saw that Teron Johnson's contract amidst all of this freed up $1.75 million in cap space. And we were sitting there really from, when this posted 16 hours ago, we were sitting there waiting. Oh my goodness, it's going to happen. Brandon Beane is going to make a trade. But today we got no trades. We didn't get a single player today picked up, which again, it could be concerning. Today, I want to give you 3 reasons what I think this signifies that the team is doing, but I also just want to run through the news of really the last 4 hours of what happened with the trade deadline in case you missed any of it. So I want to start by talking about how we all felt. Again, lots of these reactions on Twitter. We've reached the 4 p.m. trade deadline. Bills so far, nothing, right? The haters, Greg from Cover One says the haters tried to say Bean didn't have it anymore. The haters said he couldn't make a big all-in trade. The haters, guess what? Were correct. Great call by the haters, right? And of course, Zebot here, well, we're waiting, right? We're waiting for something. We were. All these texts, the cryptic, random accounts posting things like this, just got a text and all I can say is wow. Incredibly frustrating. And then again, the sleeper Bills, maybe the Bills wide receiver trade was the friends we made along the way. Oh, my goodness. And I've seen so many people's reports, even weeks ago, that were like, hey, the wide receiver that the Buffalo Bills are trading for is none other than Gabe Davis, who's already on the roster on the practice squad. And some of you guys have high hopes for Gabe Davis. And maybe even right now, is Gabe Davis going to be the guy who comes in elevated off the practice squad as he's getting, back acclimated into the game? Is he going to be the guy who puts our wide receiver room over the edge? And then, a lot of people just posting these just all over the place. You can't go anywhere on Twitter without seeing these fake trades or without seeing things like this where someone's just, Ryan Talbot's just asking, what does Bills Brandon Beane have up his sleeve? He has absolutely nothing. Bills Mafia, maybe the news is that there is really no news coming out of the trade deadline. But I do think, again, there's 3 things that are being signified from the lack of moves about what Brandon Beane and in association our ownership and even in association Sean McDermott feels about our roster. Again, if the trade deadline was 3 weeks ago, I think I'd have a much worse reaction or much worse feeling, or I'd be feeling much worse than I do right now. But frankly, when I look at this team, when I look at the last 2 wins here against the Panthers and against even the Chiefs, I'm feeling better about this team. Of course, the injuries with Ed Oliver and the injuries with Michael Hoyt are concerning. But you know what? Javon Solomon got in there and he got after Mahomes as well, even after Hoyt was injured. There's some potential highlights of this team, and I want to talk about those. But again, a couple other things I want to run through. People potentially had Garrett Wilson on the trade block. We know that there's a lot of receivers moved, but the guys who maybe were swirling in our minds late in the cycle were Deebo Samuel from the Commanders, with Jaden Daniels getting hurt with his elbow, which don't watch that if you can avoid it. I get so squeamish on those. But also Jalen Waddle, the Dolphins wanted multiple firsts, and Garrett Wilson I don't think they wanted to trade him anywhere, especially not in interdivision trades. Again, I don't know the sources specifically on that one. I can't claim that for myself or anything, but that's what I was overhearing people talk about. But again, just some other things. With Rashid Shaheed, why couldn't have we gotten Rashid Shaheed for a 4th or a 5th? He would have been a great rental player for this season that would have opened up a deep threat for us. The Colts have a guy oh my goodness, I think his name is Alec. I can't even remember his name off the top of my head right now, but they've got a deep threat that's just streaking the field. He's not Pittman, he's not Josh Downs, but he's the other guy down there that really opens things up for them. Maybe that's Gabe Davis. I don't know. We thought Tyrell Shavers was going to be that guy. But again, the big trade was really the Jets just unloaded every player they had. They got rid of two Pro Bowlers, really, in Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams, which for us is great. We're going to play against the Jets again this year, and they had a fire sale. They were getting people off their team. I'm surprised that they didn't deal Breece Hall. But again, today I want to get into 3 reasons why I think what we did is really we're just doubling down on our roster. But before we get into it, again, my name is Colin. This is Crack the Table. We're all Bills, no breaks, every single day, breaking down Buffalo Bills content. So if you don't have a place where you get news regularly, or if you're not getting Buffalo Bills updates anywhere else, feel free to like and subscribe and join our community. I'd love you to. I'm honored every single day to bring you these updates. But let's continue into it. And the first thing I want to be talking about today is a thing about our core. And I think earlier on in this season, I just did a video about this yesterday, but earlier on in the season, we were really concerned about where we thought our rookies were going. Of course, at the time, we didn't see anything from Max Hairston. And at the time, some of our other rookies, and even still to this day, Landon Jackson hasn't frankly played at all, outside of a couple active games here. But there was a lot of questions about the potential additions that we made this year. And we were questioning Brandon Beane. And so we were like, get rid of the picks, get some proven players, get them in, and just don't worry about drafting. But the last couple weeks, we've been seeing some ascending players. And one guy I want to talk about here is Cole Bishop. Cole Bishop on the back end, remember, is a pretty good athlete in of himself. I'm not going to ready to call him an elite athlete, but he has been leveling up. He has been playing better as of late. The first 4 or 5 games, there was only a couple highlights. I think the one big interception early on in the season, but other than that, he hasn't been great. But in the Chiefs game, with the way that we played against Patrick Mahomes, which frankly, again, if you're looking at the Chiefs over the last month, they have been playing with their hair on fire. They have been a very good team. Cole Bishop had a great game this last week. Not only that, Jordan Hancock has had a great game, or had a great game out of frankly one play, but he has been a good player who's going to be an ascending talent. You pair Christian Benford, you pair Max Hairston, and you pair Hancock and Cole Bishop as our safeties in the back end, or maybe Hancock as nickel corner if Teron Johnson isn't quite playing or in there. This is going to be a very good unit on the back end. Bills Mafia, you have to get excited about what is being built in the back end of our defense, regardless of the fact that a couple of these guys are rookies and Cole Bishop is a second-year player himself. But again, Maxwell Hairston is his own highlight. He might be, with Sauce Gardner out of the AFC East, he might be the absolute best cornerback in the entire AFC East. Now, Christian Gonzalez might want to have a word with us, but regardless, he had a really good game. I know he's only played 2 games. He had a really good game, just against the Kansas City Chiefs this past week. Again, lots to talk about with this, but Max Hairston's proving that he's not playing scared. He's playing like he belongs. He's the ball hawk we thought he was to be. But again, a guy I think we really need to talk about as well is Dalton Kincaid. Dalton Kincaid only played 30-some% of the snaps on Sunday, and he had over 100 yards. Khalil Shakir, we just got him under contract again. He's still a good receiver. Dalton Kincaid and Khalil Shakir had 15 targets, I think it was, or maybe 14 total targets between the two of them. And all the other receivers on our team basically had nothing. So we've got 2 cornerstone receiving options. James Cook now under contract, and of course, Josh Allen under contract. But James Cook, even himself, along with our offensive line, is moving the ball down the field consistently. The way that we're using 12 personnel and the way that we're using jumbo sets is continually leading to a high level of efficiency. Yes, we've got some issues in the receiving room. Yes, I would have wanted to trade for a receiver. Yes, I wanted Chris Olave on our team, even over Rashid Shaheed and over some of these other guys. But you know what? It's not the case. Our coaching staff didn't want to enter the desperate market and pay the tax on what it would cost to mortgage our future for production right now. And so the first thing, again, that I wanted to talk about is I think our core is ascending. There's a lot of players, when we're looking on our roster, when we're looking at the players that are in the building right now, a lot of these guys are younger assets or younger, all the players that we just paid in this offseason, frankly, outside of Terrell Bernard, who's been struggling himself, which is its own conversation maybe for another day. But a lot of these guys have been producing. Christian Benford is not a bad player, even though he was a late round pick. We know we just paid him, but he has been good. Stop thinking that he is not a great cornerback. He has done really, really well. He is part of the battle plan every single week. He is part of the game plan every single week. But the other thing, the second point that I want to talk about, not just that our players are ascending, but that the market really was desperate. When you look at the players that were out getting contracts or being traded, a lot of it was for pretty premium amounts. Yeah, you could say Logan Wilson going to the Cowboys for like a 7th round pick might have been a good move for the Bills. That's fine. But you know what? With Shaq Thompson and some of these other guys, Dorian Williams and Matt Milano being in the room and Joe Andreessen and even Jimmy Charlo on the practice squad, I think we're okay at the linebacker position. If we have another injury or two, I think the coaching staff might have made another decision. But I think right now we didn't want to get rid of a day 1 pick. And frankly, I don't think we want to get rid of a day 2 pick, especially in consideration. Oops, well, there's an ad there. Especially in consideration with where our cap situation has been. We are not in a position that we want to spend a ton of money or leverage our future any more than we already have with some of these bad contracts with guys on our team. Again, as we've talked about this, there is some guys on our roster, i.e. Dawson Knox, this year and next year, who's making like in total like 35 plus million in the next 2 years. And that's just absolutely a drain to the current construction of our roster. But again, there's expiring contracts. There's going to be dead money that's off the books in a couple of years. And we didn't want extra money allocated to players who maybe don't project to be long-term on this scheme. This was a doubling down of the Buffalo Bills to say, hey, our window is both right now and it's continuing on in the future. Again, they didn't just want to value buy. They didn't want to they didn't want an impulse buy. They wanted to make sure that there would be value, I think, associated with it. And Brandon Beane, the front office, made a decision not to do anything as a result of that. Again, great teams aren't built by singular moves or 9-week rentals. Great teams are built with layers of depth and coaching and talent that matures together, again, with cap stability. You look at teams around the league who've done it for years, who are still contenders, who are still being very financially wise and disciplined. That's exactly what I think the Buffalo Bills are trying to do. We just got the injury bug that's killing us along the way, which is its own thing. But number 3, I think, of the reasons. So number 1, again, was our young players are ascending. Number 2 is, again, I don't think we wanted to pay the extra trade deadline tax of draft capital. But number 3 would be this, is I think the real reinforcements are already in the building. Now, I don't want to, I'm not a fan of this strategy, but I do think it is the reality of our team that Gabe Davis is going to be a receiver on our roster, on our active roster later on in the season, who's going to be producing. Elijah Moore, Curtis Samuel, Keon Coleman, Tyrell Shavers, and of course, Khalil Shakir, all of those guys are going to be used in different ways throughout the rest of the year. As of right now, as far as it stands, Curtis Samuel is healthy. Elijah Moore is healthy. All of these guys are healthy and they are ready to contribute and be used by Joe Brady. Now, I hope the offense gets a little bit more vertical, but I do have to know, and I think I've been seeing this with these jumbo sets and with this 12 personnel, it's really created a space where Dalton Kincaid or even some of our other tight ends, depending on the calls, have been getting these big 18, 20-yard catches here and there, which is very helpful for our scheme. But again, beside that point, again, TJ Sanders is looking like he is going to be back not too much longer. We got some updates, I think, yesterday from Sean McDermott, one from Dorian Strong, who's on IR, but he said that it's not looking good based off reports, and it's not moving in the direction that we'd want. Again, a rookie who was promising, who did look like he was going to be pretty good, but this is not the report that we wanted to see. But then also, this is a positive report on the other side of this, is that it looks like TJ Sanders could be returning sooner rather than later. And again, just like Deion Walker on the defensive line, TJ Sanders was brought in as a very high ceiling player. With Ed Oliver out, with Michael Hoyt out, with Daquan Jones with this calf injury, TJ Sanders, Okunjobi, and I think Deion Walker, the three of those guys are going to hold down the fort in the middle of a defensive line. And again, you pair Deion Walker, Jones, and Okunjobi and Sanders together, your front of your interior defensive line deadline has a good rotation, it's stabilized, and your rotation normalizes. Once Jones and once, again, TJ Sanders are back, I think we're going to feel the stability back again. Everyone's fresher then, and everyone's faster. Again, there's so many things to talk about, but I think the Buffalo Bills are just doubling down as a team on the guys that they have in the building. They're not trying to leverage their future. They're trying to stay consistent right now. So the question for you today, Bills Mafia, if you've watched to the end of this one, is do you think that was the right call? I know we're restless. I know we want the Super Bowl. I know we want all the best things for our team. We want no injuries. But based off the cap situation and based off, again, the limits that we have for this team, do you think that Brandon Beane made the right decision, or are you pounding the table mad and frustrated and angry? Hey, let me know down in the comments. But again, in all of it, my name is Con. This is Crack the Table. We're all Bills No Breaks, breaking down Buffalo Bills content every single day. So again, humbly, if you're looking for a new community to follow, to join, to talk about Buffalo Bills football, or even just things in the NFL, make sure to like, subscribe, and join our community. Have a great day. Be good, do good. God bless. Go Bills. Peace out.